Thanks for coming out. We've got kind of an interesting, varied ride today. Once we head up into the forest, there's going to be a lot of nice turns up there. But the first thing I'll tell everybody is to ride at your own pace. Don't feel rushed by the group. If you feel like taking it a little easy or slower, please ride in the back of the pack. Rusty will be our sweeper today. He is riding a blue Bergman. And what that means is that he's in the back to make sure everybody stays together, that if anybody has any issues along the way, mechanical problems, that they're okay. So if you do have any issues, you need to pull to the side of the road. He'll be the person to stop. If you see somebody pulled over, unless they're in dire need of assistance, which means on the ground, don't pull over. Rusty will tend to them, because if we pull over in big groups in the middle of these roads, which are very narrow, we create hazards for everybody, including cars and each other and everyone else. I'll also say that because of the weather that we've been having lately, there's likely to be a fair amount of debris and possibly new potholes and cracks and things like that in the road. So keep your eyes open. Watch out for sand and rocks, particularly when the hills are on your right side, because that's when it comes down into our side. One of our group leaders who's not here today, Stephen, recently went down on one of the roads that we're going to be on because he hit a big patch of gravel, wasn't ready for it. It happens to even experienced excellent riders like Steve. Is he okay?
He's good, yes, thank you.
So stay alert and pay attention to what's going on in front of you. The way that we do this is on the surface streets, which we're not going to be on very much too long. We ride in a staggered formation. That means Liam, the leader, is going to be up here on the left. The next person is on the right side, about 2 seconds behind, left, right, like that. That is so when we're dealing with cars and people coming out of driveways and things like that. Did I just mirror image the whole thing? Yeah, I always do that. That if people need to move over to deal with traffic and cars and things like that, they don't have to worry about somebody being right next to them. If there's a gap in the formation, do not move left to right, because that's when we get into problems. Just wait till we get to a stop. We'll all bunch up, and then we spread out again when we get past there. We will stop at all the lights and stop signs and things like that. Don't worry if part of the group is ahead of us. We will stop and wait for people at all of the major turns, and there really aren't that many of them this time. So we won't have to worry about that too much. Do be cautious if we have to pull over, because of the gravel and leaves and all that other crap on the side of the road. More people get into trouble pulling over to a stop than they do actually riding. And that's when people start slipping and sliding, put their foot down on some gravel and lose their footing. So be really careful when we have to pull over, and we'll try to keep that to a minimum. Once we get into the hills, we will get into a single file formation. We want to try to leave some space between you and the person in front of you, so that you can see what's going on up ahead, and so that we don't all clump up in the middle on the curves and when people have to slow down. If everybody is paying attention to what's going on in front of them, then we don't really have to worry about what's going on behind you. So when you see people up ahead of you braking or swerving because of obstacles and things like that, you know to do that. If there is a hazard in the road and you feel comfortable pointing it out with your foot, do so, and we will pass that message back by sticking our feet out. If you don't want to stick your foot off the side of your scooter while you're riding, we totally understand. Don't worry about it. And don't stick your foot out if you don't feel like you want to. Don't feel comfortable doing that. But if you do see somebody doing that, that's what it means. There's a hazard up ahead. We might run into some bicyclists and hikers and sport bikers and things like that up there. Do not,
ideally not literal.
yes, do not, under any circumstances, no matter what's happening next to you or in front of you, cross the line in the middle of the road, whether that's an actual painted line or a metaphorical one. You don't want to cross over, because cars coming down these roads don't know how to drive, and they'll take that stuff wide, and we'll run into a lot of trouble if you're trying to pass bicycles and things like that. So if you have to slow down and wait so you can safely get past some people, just do it. It's not a big deal. It's better to be patient than to be riding out into the middle of the road on these things.
And we will wait.
Yeah, and we will wait for anybody, regardless of how fast you feel like riding.
Come across a sport biker coming up on the right-hand side or left-hand side of you, just pull over and give
Let
them
them
a wave,
pass.
let them go
Mhm.
by. Don't try to race them or anything. Just pull over as best you can. Just slow down and let them go by.
When it's safe and comfortable for you to do so. So if you're in the turns, you don't need to pull over to let them by. But when you get a chance to, let them do it, and they're usually okay about that. We are going up to, are we going to have refuel in Acton?
No, I was going to go at the top of Topanga. I'm going to stop and just kind of let everybody regroup. And the hills going uphill, you know, we have 650s, we got 125s, we got all range of bikes, and so we tend to get really spread out. So I'll stop at the top and wait for everybody to get there, and then we'll all descend down to the bottom together.
It's a hunger, not Topanga, right?
Yeah, Topanga, sorry.
Yeah, that confused me.
I live near
Where am I
Topanga.
on? What day is this?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And after we get down to the bottom of the hill, there's a gas station there, a Chevron. I'll pull over inside there. Everyone can take a break and go to the bathroom, get gas if you want. And then we'll continue on to Acton.
That's the Chevron right when we cross the freeway there?
Yeah, right
Okay.
past the freeway.
Then it's probably a twistier ride on the way back, would you say?
Not really. Actually,
Okay.
the forest isn't that bad.
Well, just be careful and watch out. Like I said, watch out for hazards. Watch out for other vehicles and bikes, and stay alert. Keep your eyes on what's in front of you. If you do have to pull over and you're fine, just give us a wave and let us know. If you need to peel off from the group and go home or whatever it is, because you got a text message and the baby's coming right now, whatever it is, just let us know that you're okay with a wave. Otherwise, Rusty will pull over and ask you how things are going and see if you're okay. Any questions?
Who's leading? Me? All right.
Liam's in the front. I will be in the middle
Just
helping
remember
everybody.
Big blue Bergmans. Mine's in the front, his is in the back.
Right. So if we do get separated, I might actually pull to the front to help us get back together through a light, just to guide us along the
And then a
route.
few of us have communicators. I'm connected to Steve and JT, so we can spread out through to help too.
Giving group sing-alongs on there. All right. We're heading out that way in about 3 minutes. If that easily, I'd be in trouble. I'd be crashing a lot more than
Lovely pre-ride chat.
Shall not talk of the C word.